Welcome back to Houselights, your one-stop shop for everything you need to hear about this week in the world of entertainment. As always, I'm your host, Liz Noss, with my beautiful, wonderful co-host,
Claire Donahoe.
And we have a very special, passionate guest about our topic today.
My name is Maya, and I work on the multimedia desk here.
Well, I'm so happy to have you here. Ow. Got it. Black ow. That is a quote from the... Okay, I really tried to keep it together for that one. That is a quote from someone that we're going to be talking a lot about today, RuPaul. We're going to be talking about Drag Race. That really didn't land as well as I wanted it to.
No, I think I know what you're saying for
Call Me Mother is the song.
Okay.
Yeah, so look it up. Great song.
Right,
it's on my
That's on us.
Get Happy playlist. But yeah, Taylor knows
Taylor's
it.
dancing behind the camera, so it landed. Don't worry.
Oh, thank God. Anyways, we're going to talk about Drag Race. It's a long-standing show. There's a lot to talk about, and I think this is an episode that we threw together at the last minute, but somehow found the most perfect guests for it. So yeah, I actually want to hear from Maya first on how you got into RuPaul's Drag Race and how long you've been watching it and everything.
I started watching it a little bit back in I think 2019. I used to do Instagram editing and people loved Trixie, so I watched a little bit, but then I didn't come back to it until last summer. I don't know what possessed me. That's usually what happens with any media I consume. I just hear about it and I'm like, oh, I'm ready for that now. And then I just watch it. And my best friend Laura also is very into it. So we've been watching and all that for I've been trying to catch up, but I'm still very behind in some ways.
It's so easy to get behind in this show because there's so many seasons, there's so many different versions of RuPaul's. But my background is I actually just started watching it over at the very end of this summer, so August. But since then, me and my roommates have been watching an episode, at least one episode, every single night of the week since. And so we've pretty much caught up with everything. It's all of US. We didn't do UK or anything. We haven't done international, but all the US and the All-Star seasons we were pretty much caught up on. And now we're rewatching some of our favorite seasons. So, but I haven't seen the newest season. So I feel I have a pretty good Rolodex of who I want to talk about.
Okay.
Rolodex, my vocab word of the day.
Yeah.
Claire, tell me a little bit about
my
your
relationship
background.
is quite limited.
Okay.
My lovely roommate Eva is extremely passionate about RuPaul's Drag Race. Is also in an era of rewatching favorite seasons. As long as I've known her, she's always, it's like a comfort show. I'll just hear it and she's I'm just gonna watch some RuPaul and decompress. Yeah. So because of her, I've kind of started to watch it. She comes home on her lunch break and cranks out an episode and goes back to work. And that's when we have started to connect on it. Most of what I will be discussing or, contributing to today's episode is from Eva. Literally text she sent me asking me to bring these to the council today. Yeah. But yeah, I've loved what I've seen so far. I love guessing who's gonna win challenges and then being really wrong. I'm oh, that's certainly she just lip synced much harder than the other and wrong, and I'm wrong. And it's a great learning opportunity to be sitting there. Really, you start paying attention to things you just never thought you would.
Yeah.
I love that because that is such a good point that you've already brought up, because I feel one of the best parts of the show is that RuPaul just has the last say on everything and is so biased in in her decisions for everything.
Yeah. I feel in the earlier seasons, the judgment was definitely there, and I respected it a lot more. But in the recent seasons, I'm or I feel it's a lot productions driving who they want the main narrative to be.
Yeah.
And I miss RuPaul being actually super valid for a lot of the critiques. So
yeah, even I guess the best sense of this is with Trixie Mattel came, who's one of the most beloved drag queens. Honestly, the reason I also got into the show was because I watched with Trixie and Katya first. Watched The Bold and the Beautiful. And so I knew that from the background, and then I got into RuPaul. And I've actually heard a lot of people got into it that way, too. So I think COVID did that to a lot of us. Yeah. But, yeah, Trixie Mattel, actually not that strong of a RuPaul drag queen. like for acting challenges and like design challenge, like very much like a very funny person, a great like personality. But then when Trixie comes on to RuPaul, not very good, wins an All-Stars season.
I know.
And it's like just because like Trixie's such like a household name, I think RuPaul was like, okay, you deserve this.
Yeah,
sort of
that's how I
thing.
felt about it too.
Yeah. Well, talking about favorite queens, should we talk about some of our favorites? Yes, of course. Actually, I'm gonna let you go first then.
Okay. So my favorite queen of all time is Sasha Colby, which I feel like is a universal opinion, and it's a very deserved crown that she holds.
Yeah.
And I also I really like more of the like odd or like weirder queens
Yes.
with like a little sense of fashion. So like Evie Oddly, I really love Anitra, even though she's not like very weird, but and then Willow Pill I really love. But I have such like a deep connection to Sasha Colby that like she just like is in my head, just like is the best. So
Well, it was funny, like because like usually the first episode, the person who's like known as like the best or like people are like, scared of them, I feel like they never make it that far into the competition. Like maybe like top 5, but like they never win it. Sasha Colby was like I don't know, like they slotted her to win at the very beginning, and then they just followed that narrative.
literally,
But like
because
deserved.
on the other seasons, like her name gets brought up because her daughter, Carrie Colby, was on like another season.
Yeah.
And also she's won so many like congeniality drag shows or something like that, Continentals, I think. And so I feel like putting her on Drag Race was almost like a joke because nobody has a chance. Like she's won so many competitions, and like everybody else on the show was like, oh, we're just completing for second place. Like no one else is gonna beat Sasha Colby, which like
Literally.
they were right.
And they were
Like,
right. But Anitra came close.
Anitra did come close.
I love Anitra. She's just like, I think when you're saying like I love the weird ones, like I also agree with you, like Willow Pill is one of my favorites, but I also love like the performers. Like Anitra is like such like a lip sync assassin. I love that. I also really like the funnier like campy ones. Like I really loved Marsha.
Yeah,
From
love Marsha.
Love Marsha. She's like such a theater kid at heart. And I also love Jujubee, who's like an earlier season. Like should have won.
Yeah.
But that's fine. that was season 2, and that was such a great season. And then they gave it to freaking what was her name? Tyra, who everyone hated. And now there's drama with Tyra. But anyways, we can get into that later. But
What about you, Claire? Who are your favorite queens?
Based on what I know about the one season that I've seen, I'm gonna say Anitra. I feel like I'm always rooting for her. Any challenge, I'm always like, it's got to be her. Eva and I watched something the other day, and I just remember saying, like, suddenly I'm standing up, and I'm like, she was robbed. Like, whatever, I don't even remember what it was, but I'm like, Anitra should have won that. And Eva's like, now you're getting it. You're understanding. So I'm going to have to say probably.
okay, so Anitra's the
Anitra.
winner of Houselights Drag Race, basically.
Boom.
Yes.
Boom. Love
You
that.
heard it here first, everybody.
Let's talk about least favorite queens
Okay.
also.
Okay, so I don't really have any like. Okay, Joella is like on the recent season. Oh my god, I've never hated a queen because like even
I can't hate a queen.
No, because everybody's like acquired taste, and it's sometimes
Right.
and honestly, a lot of
not even
queens
sure.
aren't my taste. They're just not my taste, and like, but they're someone else's. But Joella from the new season, I like actually was like, get off my screen, like get off my screen. I cannot take it. So, yeah, that's my opinion.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, like I said, I have not seen the most recent season because I don't think we have streaming capabilities for that. But we're gonna figure it out once it comes out, like on Paramount Plus. Like I'm gonna have it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for it. So it's funny because I feel like the season with like what you were saying, like they brought Sasha Colby and like Anitra like around this time. They were bringing like people from TikTok because it was like post COVID, like TikTok like drag queens, and one of them is. Or it was 2 of them was Sugar and Spice, and they were just so out of their league, like insanely. And like Spice actually lasted a lot longer, but they were both just like watching their lip syncs that season was just actually scary.
I do know this.
Yeah, because it's totally different.
You're
to, like,
naming the ones I know, guys. This is so
yes, no, well, season 15 is just such a.
It's a great.
It's a great season.
But no, I was kind of appalled to see, and I had to ask Eva many questions, like why are they here? Who did this? And Eva's like, it's kind of a bit that's gone on too long. Apparently, like they stayed a little too long.
Yeah. I liked Spice's talent show, like the first one. She like comes out of the grave.
Oh yeah.
That was fire, like the comedy, and I was like, oh, maybe like this won't be that bad, but then it was that bad. So I was like, oh, well, that was a one-time thing.
Well, the talent shows are fun because they're so like planned, and then you see them do like a lip sync for their life, and then you're like, that's not.
No, yeah. That's not
exactly. But
quite the same.
I just feel like I love the talent shows though. I think that's like one of my favorite things because you just get to know. You get to know them a little bit. Is there a favorite like talent show that anybody has? I actually didn't put that on the notes, but
Well, Willow Pills like comes to mind.
Willow Pills is great.
I love Willow Pills. I honestly can't think of off the top of my head.
There was
from this season, Susie Toot, she like tap dances and it was fire.
Yo, that's so fun. I liked Marsha's when it was
with
the picture of the hilarious Ross Matthews.
Yes.
And she like makes out with
That
it and
one's really
like does a
strong.
contemporary dance with it. There was one, I cannot remember who it was, but someone did opera, I think, that season too.
Oh my god, the fact I didn't think about that. Saphira's is my favorite. That's the opera. Like she like
Yes,
does the splits and she's like, oh, and she like falls in the split. That's my
really good
favorite.
opera
Light in your
singing.
eyes as you as you say that.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. That season I can't remember who it was, but they did like a bit with like little legs and it was like their big head and it was like a puppet show thing.
Cute.
Yeah, and I was
That
like,
was
that's
great.
the winner though? I don't know. Like
I liked that win
that's
because
funny.
I thought it was like so. I just like seeing stuff that's like very different, and I felt like
true.
that was so different. I was like, yeah, give me
Yeah.
one.
I don't know how many of the earlier, because I know that you said you've seen a lot of seasons, but not some. But like the earlier seasons, I think about this a lot. Like the newer season, like drag queens, like they would beat any of the earlier. So like a lot of the earlier season queens, like very quickly.
Yeah.
Like the talent and like. I don't know, just like the show, like specifically like the fashion has totally like.
Well, they're
went
two different
1000%.
eras.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just so straight. Yeah, it's just like crazy. I want to talk about best seasons as well. The all winners, all stars.
Yeah, so All Stars is something I haven't tapped into as
Okay.
much because I haven't watched like a few of the earlier seasons and I don't want to like not know the
Right.
queens. But I also watch so many TikToks that spoil it for me anyways. And I've seen so much All Winners, like All Stars, and I think that they need to bring it back for a second one because that is so, it was so good, like
Well,
from
it's
what I've seen.
so fun because it's one of the ones where they don't send anybody home. They just have
know,
8 queens,
yeah.
and then you win by getting your legendary legend star, and and whoever has the most legendary legend stars moves on to like the top 4, and then they like do like a lip sync like
Yeah.
battle.
Is it like Mario Party?
Yeah, it's like Mario Party a little bit with your legendary legend stars, and it's just it's great because they just get to have fun.
Yeah.
There's no like drama.
Yeah, the All Stars 9, like the most recent All Stars they did was for charity, and I watched that
Yeah.
season, which I liked. I thought that was cool, but I also felt bad for the queens because they like weren't making any money.
No, they weren't. But
So I
those,
was
I
like-
feel like the queens they had on there, like, already, like,
they're
insanely. Like,
already,
Roxy
like-
Andrews was on that
Yeah.
season. Like, she's been getting bagged for, like, the last 10 years. Like, I think she'll be okay. But season 8 is really good with Bob the Drag Queen. There's Thorgy Thor, Acid Betty.
Yeah.
Those are really good ones. Really like season 5 because you get Alaska Tox.
Yes.
And Roxy Andrews is on that one. All Stars 2 is good because Alaska, Katya.
Yeah.
So great. And then season 15.
Yeah, I also want to add season 7 to that like whole thing because
Who's on that?
season 7 was like so many like Violet Chachki. She's also a fave of
yeah.
mine, but I have mixed feelings sometimes about her. That was Katya's original season.
Yes.
Trixie's original season, Pearl, Max. Who else is on that season? There was a lot of iconic queens on that season. So
That's valid. Love. I want to get into like what makes a good season and a good winner. And I want to say Maya brought up a great question that was what makes a good winner. So tell me a little bit some of your thoughts on that.
okay, so I just think of like the whole tagline, which is like your uniqueness, charisma, charm. Wait,
Charisma, uniqueness,
nerve and talent. Yes, because I've been thinking about that a lot this new season specifically, with like all these queens, because some of them are very, very lacking in a lot of the categories in other seasons where it's like not as obvious. And it's like really making me think like, man, like you really do have to have all of those traits to like be a good winner, especially the nerve. The nerve thing I kind of like let fall back, but like they gotta be entertaining. Like you gotta like fight and be entertaining, and so
You gotta fight.
yeah, I feel like Sasha Colby was so good at that because she like would only partake in drama that was like needed,
so classy.
but she was like classy about it, but still had like nerve. So that's my take.
I'm trying
about
to think of like a queen that like has been like, I mean, there's definitely so many, but who's like a
Bianca was
not
good.
classy?
Not
like
classy?
who's like a not classy queen? Because like I feel like so many of them like take, I don't know, but I also don't watch Untucked, which is where a lot
really?
of no, I don't.
I've been watching Untucked for this season and I'm eating it up. I think it's so entertaining.
okay.
You miss a lot of the drama that goes on. Like half of the stuff when they talk about in like the next episode like happened on Untucked that they just like recap and then
so
move
funny.
on. So
Okay, I'll be sure maybe for this next season then I'll tap into Untucked because I do like the drama. And I guess I missed that from like reality shows because like we were talking about dating reality shows, half of it is like
I know I heard
the
about
drama
that. I
you
wanted
love.
to talk about that.
Right.
Love
Okay,
it.
briefly on the topic of dating. I'm not even going to pretend that this is my question. Eva asks, why are there not more RuPaul relationships?
Well,
There has been.
Or are there lots
Wait, there
that
is
we
on
just
this
don't
one?
know about? And then she cited a few. Most recent couples to emerge, but it's a short list. So do you guys think that there's just more happening that we don't know about, or like drama that you're not privy to because it's on a different show? Like, what do we think about
I think that it's kind of like, I guess it's like your acquired taste. Like if you want to date another drag queen, I feel like as part of like, you just might not be attracted to that, or that might not be your thing. You might be more attracted to someone who's more manly or serves a different role. I feel like, because I've watched some queens talk about this topic. I know you're looking at these lists.
I'm looking at this list. I'm sorry, I was gagged at Sharon Needles in Alaska.
Oh no, we knew about this because Alaska came into her season saying that she was Sharon Needles' like partner.
Oh, okay.
That was the
wait,
whole
I
thing.
didn't-
already entering the show?
Well, there
so
was
that's a different-
exes that I was looking for because I
Because like
remember.
I think of like
two-
Vanjie and like Brooklyn Heights, but then on this season, I'm
Yes,
eating it up.
That's what I was thinking of.
On this season, Lydia Butthole Collins and then Corey King are like dating, and Corey's very
Like,
present on YouTube.
dating?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Corey's very present on YouTube, and so like is like posting about their relationship, and I like love it, and I think it's great, and I want more of that kind of content to come out of Drag Race.
Wait, that's fun. Also, looking at this list, I totally forgot one of my favorite queens of all time, Miss Vanjie.
Yes,
Is one of
love
my
Vanjie.
favorite queens. Oh my gosh, love. Miss Vanjie.
So is the list long?
Well, my laptop is now frozen.
Okay,
But
perfect.
it looks it's
a good length.
it's a good length.
Okay.
Amethyst. Oh, I remember Amethyst and Robin Fierce too. I did- 'cause-
yes, they went on the same season. and,
Yes,
like,
I remember them being like, oh yeah, we were exes.
Yeah, this is
Didn't
from
like
this season,
Amethyst, by the way.
I like love it. I think it's
Oh my god, cute. Wow.
Yeah, Eva was saying if they're dating or even hooking up behind the scenes, why do they not come out with that more? Wouldn't it get them more like clout on
Yeah.
the show? But then again, maybe
Are they there to date?
are they there to date or get clout for those reasons?
Yeah.
I guess that also depends on, we're talking about like classiness or like, I don't want to say like cattiness as the word, but just like if you're, maybe people don't share it because then if you are in like a fight or there is some drama, that could be used as like a
Also, they're like
Low
super
blow.
shut down in production. Like, I don't know if you know about the behind the scenes, but they're like locked in their hotel rooms.
Oh my God, no.
Wait, really?
guys
I didn't know
about
that.
So, like
like-
separated from one another?
So if they're not in the workroom, they are put into hotel rooms and they can't leave the hotel rooms. They have to like slip notes under the door to like say to production like, I need food or I need this, or like, can you get this for me?
what?
They're not allowed to leave their rooms, so it makes it very hard to hook up. No phones. They can't tell anybody that they're going on the show. Like all that stuff.
That's kind of how I feel like what happens at the like for The Bachelor.
Right,
Like where
right.
do people that go like because I
People
always
like quit
find,
their
like,
jobs
Yes.
to do
Yes.
Right.
this. Yeah.
I just think about people on The Bachelor like you because I'll like look them up and I was like they haven't posted since September 2024.
Yeah,
like
they
they're
can't-
off the grid.
They have to go off the grid.
That makes sense.
But it makes sense because it would spoil a lot of it if they were on the grid.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's really.
That's how they
crazy.
complete the design challenges because they're just like locked in their hotel rooms,
I
like,
was
working on their garments.
You know what? I always think about that
With no phone.
because like because I love Project Runway and like that's part of the reason that I love design challenges so much. And it's like I feel like I never see them actually work on it. And I'm like, how did they finish this?
yeah.
Because they're locked in their hotel rooms.
I did not know that. Wow.
That's crazy.
It's kind of spooky to me.
It is
wanna-
spooky to me too.
Yeah. I want to hear more questions because low-key, like, us being, like, a council.
Yes.
Yeah,
For,
I'm
like,
just the
questions, I would love
messenger
to
here.
answer more.
Okay.
The judges on the panel.
When RuPaul retires, who is going to take over the original US season? Or do you think the show will retire with her?
I don't think it'll retire. I mean, I think it might eventually retire, but they'll like try to keep it up just because it brings in a lot of money and fame for a lot of queens.
Okay.
I was saying this, but if Michelle Visage doesn't like pass away before him, then like I think that she'll just take over.
Okay.
But if not, like I honestly don't know because I just see RuPaul as like such the icon.
Right.
Yeah. I
But I
feel
don't
like
know.
it might retire with RuPaul because, like, Michelle Visage, they're so,
Yeah.
like, one without the other. That wouldn't work. It's not like the hilarious Ross Matthews is gonna take over.
Yeah.
But what your roommate, and when I read over your shoulder,
Right.
what your roommate said was Sasha Colby,
Right.
Which would be
my
cool.
roommate,
which would be
Right.
awesome.
my roommate's good friend said Sasha Colby would take over, to which my roommate said, I would be happy with that.
I would be happy with
Which
that
it appears,
as well.
okay,
Yes.
that's a general.
I'm also thinking about older, like, queens who could fill that, like, RuPaul. Like, what about Chad Michaels?
That's very true. I just feel like they do have to be a little bit younger because
Okay.
then it'll like outlive
it'll
more.
last.
Yeah.
Right.
But does wisdom come with being the host of RuPaul's Drag Race? That you have to have those years.
I think of like the other hosts on the other like franchises like Canada's Drag Race. It's like Brooklyn Heights is the host of Canada's Drag Race.
Wait, I didn't know that was crazy.
Yeah, and then I think Nymphia Wind is gonna be. They're making like one for Taiwan. Like I think she's gonna host something in like Asia with like Asia's Drag Race or something like that.
Wow.
So they're already like kind of doing that, but I don't know about like the US franchise. I feel like I have no idea who would be really a good fit.
Interesting.
Okay.
Love that. I just want to throw out there like what our favorite kind of challenges are because they have different kinds of challenges. My favorite is a design. Hot take, I love a Rusical. My roommates always make me they literally will skip through Rusical episodes because they hate it so much. That's great. I love a Rusical.
I love a Rusical too.
Because I want to see what RuPaul thinks of like how to change like a classic musical, like what, and it's always so funny. It's always corny, but I don't love all the acting challenges.
I don't like all the acting challenges. I think they're needed like maybe one or two a season to kind of prove like who is really funny, who's the comedy.
Yeah,
But just like back to back
the
to back.
writing is so bad.
It's
on
the
it.
writing is so bad. I would prefer if they just kind of like reenacted things.
Yes,
Like they did that this season. They like reenacted like iconic scenes from RuPaul's Drag Race. So like the queens were just like pretending to be the queens from other seasons, which I thought was great because then it's like already funny.
Right.
But I love a Rusical because they do like after Drag Race or outside of the show, like they do Drag the Musical and they use like drag queens from RuPaul's Drag Race. So I feel like proving that you can like be in musical theater, you can perform on a stage, proves that you are someone to go pay for afterwards.
Right.
And then I love design challenges, obviously.
And
Everybody
of course,
does.
everyone loves Snatch Game.
Yes.
Which is the best part of the
I
season.
do love Snatch Game.
I was thinking a lot this week about Jinx because we're watching the most recent All Stars. Jinx Monsoon's Judy Garland
Yes, I would
is
agree.
so awesome, and also Lucy DeLuca did a real. I didn't even like Lucy DeLuca.
Oh, that's another queen I
altogether.
hated too, actually.
No, like I didn't love Lucy DeLuca because honest, talk about a not classy.
No,
queen.
I just everything
Lucy
that came out
DeLuca.
of her mouth, I was like, "What are you?
No,
what are
literally.
you doing?" Like,
But her as Joan Rivers was great,
yes, it was great.
and like Chad Michaels as Cher, but like it. I don't know if that counts though. It's like the same thing with Derek Barry and Britney.
Yeah.
That like they were technically Cher and Britney impersonators before, so like does that count as like a good Snatch Game?
I mean, I think Snatch Game isn't really about your celebrity impersonation. Like they talk about a lot. Keep talking about this season, but I'm so immersed. They're talking a lot about that this season. Like it's really just about making RuPaul laugh in a way that's not your character, but like in a different way, making RuPaul laugh. So I would say it counts because as long as you make RuPaul laugh, that's all that really matters.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't even know, like, I don't know Judy Garland personally. I thought it was a good impression.
Yeah, like,
but it
I don't
was
know
more
how-
that, like, Jinx Monsoon was, like, calling RuPaul, like, broom.
Exactly,
And, like,
exactly.
It was, yeah. And then I really liked Got Mick as Person, which was one that you
Yes,
put. That's a
I
good
put that one down. I love Gottmik.
Yeah.
Love Gottmik. And the Paris Hilton thing, like I play that like if I just need something to pick me up, I just think it's hilarious. Like, it's so good.
I've gotten a lot of Got Mick Instagram reel ads recently.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I think she's, like, doing, like, some sort of, like, prep campaign.
Oh, I think I saw that
And-
today. It's with Violet Chachki, their podcast.
Yes.
It's, like, getting a new season.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that's probably what it is.
Yeah, no, I just keep getting, like, ads
Yeah.
of Got Mick. I'm like, oh my god, hey, girl.
Hey.
But yeah, I think Snatch Game's, like, one of the best things. Sometimes it really hurts if, like, because there's a couple Snatch Games that, like, aren't very funny because no one
Was
is,
it
like,
that season
serving.
14? But, like, everybody who did bad besides...
Yeah.
Besides, who was it? It was one... Who did they do? It was, like, that was the only person.
Was it Flavor Flav?
No, that was...
No, that was...
Who was it? I can, like, picture it in my head. Flava Flav was,
We were just talking about this today, me and my roommates, because I
don't
was like,
know.
what do you need to say about RuPaul?
We're all asking.
We're all asking the right questions.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any closing thoughts?
I have two things to say.
yes,
actually,
please.
one is I noticed no one said that they loved the lip sync battles, which
Oh,
Well,
okay. Can I
yes.
just say this is probably just because I'm a newbie here, and that's aside from acting challenges and also the what are they called? Garment?
Musical?
No, I haven't seen a rusical.
Design challenges?
The
Snatch
design
game?
challenges.
Oh.
Which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Eva, if you're watching this, I'm pretty sure design challenge is her favorite. I've seen one design challenge maybe, but primarily I've been in the lunch break session for a lip sync
Yeah.
battle. I love those.
I think
they're great.
I think they're the most
It's
important
classic.
thing, actually, which is,
Okay.
like, maybe a hot take, but, like,
I mean, they
I
seem.
just... Well, I
You
think
literally lip sync for your life.
Well,
like,
I mean, the
not even-
title, the act, the whole.
Well, it's just,
thing.
like, outside of Drag Race, their main thing that they do is lip syncing on a stage, like,
Right.
at a brunch or at a bar. Like, that's the main thing. So if you can't lip sync well,
What
I'm
are you
not gonna
doing?
pay to see
Right.
you. And, like,
yes.
some people do so bad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
but I keep talking about this new season, but Lydia Butthole Collins, I love her. She, like, I've never seen a lip sync just, like, the other person gets so put in the background, and then she was just, like, all eyes
my
were on
God.
her. And I was like, that was the last thing I was expecting. I feel like a lot
that.
of, like, lip sync sounds like Anitra or, like, Georges. Like, you just look at them and you're like, oh my God.
Dropping.
Love.
The second thing is a question from Eva.
Thank you, Eva.
And we can close on this because I
thank
feel like
you,
it's kind of
Eva.
like a
Okay.
profound ending.
Yes.
Is there a limit to how real one queen can be without being a bitch?
I think there is a line.
I think there is.
There's a
Okay.
line.
Do you find that a lot of your faves, or not even faves, cross it? Are they, do you think, like, I don't know, I guess calling back to being classy, do you think that you favor those who maybe know the line and understand it more, or are you favoring those who just kind of, like, do whatever they want?
I think for me, I definitely favor the ones who like know where that line is, because like two of my like the ones that some that I didn't bring up that are like least favorite queens is Utica and Gia Gunn, who were both just like very much known for like going over that line, and like Utica had one of like the meanest roasts. Also, that's another one of my favorite challenges, like when they do the roasts.
Oh, the reading?
Yeah, the reading, because like
Library is open.
oh, the library, but like when like they'll have like a RuPaul roast, or they'll have like a
Yeah.
roast of like Carson Kressley or something, or Michelle Visage.
Oh, I love
those
when
are
they-
so great. Michelle Visage's one that I watched recently was really, really good. But like when people have mean roasts, it's like such a downer, and like
Yeah.
if you don't make RuPaul laugh, like you're done.
Yeah.
You're done. So I think that I favor the ones that like know that line between like really funny and being real, but also like classy, like Sasha
Yeah.
Colby.
I would say I definitely like people that are on and know their place, but I wouldn't say they become like a favorite of mine, but the people that are so outlandish, it's like kind of funny at that point. But with Utica, I haven't seen that season, but Utica has been killing it with designing for this season, like the new season. A lot of their garments are on the runway this season, and they're phenomenal. So maybe give them a second
wait.
chance. So
And you know what? That's what RuPaul's all about. Second chance.
Yeah.
No, RuPaul does love to just bring on people all the time. that
I
are Just
know.
like second, third. Who was the queen that they kept bringing on like at the first beginning seasons? That was just like always around.
I don't know.
Oh my god, I can't think of her name right
I don't know either.
now.
They're like, or like I am the voice of Eva.
I'm the voice of Eva. I actually have no idea.
I have no clue.
She's gonna watch this.
I'm so excited for you to watch.
She texted me, she goes, if my questions aren't included, no worries. I will still be
It's the whole
anxiously
podcast.
awaiting the release. I'm like, girl, your questions are all I'm going to say.
I'd also love to talk to Eva. I feel like
Oh my
she
God.
needs to be part of this conversation.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes.
Well, on that note, we miss you, Eva, and
Thank you for being the ghost guest also
Literally.
on this podcast.
it was so nice talking about my favorite show, and I'm gonna watch the newest season post haste.
And I'm going to catch up.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing me on. I love this.
Thank you.
Thank you guys, and we'll see you next week to talk about poetry.
Oh.
True. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.